just a little boy, I asked my father, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Is what he said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be.
Hello, everybody. This is Alicia and Liz, and we are the Decoded TV network, and this is From Decoded. And so today we're just going to do a little quick excerpt from our deep dive into season 2, episode 7, Belly of the Beast. And it's our theory of the week. We want to discuss whether or not there's a mole afoot, or more than one mole afoot in Fromville, and who it might be. So here we go. Jim is like standing and notices that, well, a drone flies overhead, which initially I didn't I just thought, oh, whoa.
I was like, what's this?
Right. So I was slightly disappointed that it was just Randall.
I know. I had the very same thought.
Yeah. But yeah, so he has a nephew and he was heading to his birthday and he had gotten him a toy drone. Was flying it around, and of course Jim, the roller coaster builder extraordinaire, has an idea again.
Let me kind of show you something.
Yeah, so marches over to the bus to talk with Randall. So they go for a walk, and Jim shows him, the camper, and he goes in there, I guess, for the antenna, but that's where they have this discussion. And Jim, of course, if this is an experiment, somebody's got to be in on it in order to keep the experiment going. Yes, a mole.
And moles plural.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And he raises a great point, if that is indeed what's going on. And so, of course, that gets us as the audience, as well as Jim, questioning everything. And something I thought was really interesting was how after he said that, because that was sort of the end of the scene, he says that, and then we cross cut to the conversation with Julie, Ellis, and Fatima. And Julie's first line is, he stabbed you, and they're discussing Dale and what happened the previous night. And so a lot of times I feel like cross cuts like that are meant to be clues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I have been starting to wonder if perhaps Dale, if there is a mole, perhaps Dale is a mole. We're going to talk about Donna in a second, but this leads us to the conversation that Donna and Dale had at the beginning of the episode.
Well, okay, first off, Randall talking about why you would need a mole, or moles plural. Mm-hmm. How else do you keep the experiment on track?
Right. Now, what do you think he really means there?
You need someone or someone's on the inside, pushing, pulling, adjusting as needed, getting information and conveying it to whomever is in control. Mm-hmm. Because we've heard a lot about they're observing us, they're watching us, but we haven't heard a lot about they're listening to us.
Right. Yeah.
And it just goes more to they would need an inside man or people to keep the lines of communication flowing.
Yeah.
Real quick, when Jim was explaining his government experiment theory to Randall, he says they've been doing this stuff for a long, long time. And when you see the ones that have been declassified, makes you wonder about the ones that haven't been. Mm-hmm. So I noted a long, long time plus declassification would indicate back to the 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that there might have been a inciting incident for this town that was during that time period, based on how everybody's dressed. But then you also have the Civil War person that's coming after. But that could easily also be somebody who was doing reenactments. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought.
But definitely.
And mostly that kind of stuff, the government experimenting and like the dark shadow conspiracy, That was 50s, 60s.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that was
Yeah.
my
I definitely think that they've shown many hints that indicate that something key happened
in
with
that
this
time.
town at that
Yeah.
time. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah. And so yeah, Donna is talking with Dale, and we can see right off the bat that Donna's feeling guilty about not having been there when everything went down. Or at least she appears to be feeling guilty. We don't necessarily, I think there's some interesting stuff to discuss with Donna, because now we have that in the front of our minds about a mole. And I had
Right.
even mentioned, I think a few episodes ago, that there was something off about her, and
You did.
yeah, and I was noticing things. And so, that kind of, the seed had already been planted in my mind, I think. Oh, that's what it is. I was trying to remember what it was. Okay. So I mentioned a few episodes ago how I thought it was strange that Donna had a photo of her and her sister framed
Yep.
in her room. And we see this, like, I think, in the first episode of the series or something like that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was strange because the story that she told was that she was going on a trip with her sister and they were together when they're going on this trip. And so I said, I don't know, why would you have a framed photo of you and your sister if you were traveling with your sister on a vacation?
Exactly.
It didn't make sense to me. And that was sort of one of the first things that started getting me to think about if there was something else to this with her.
But Donna in the picture.
Yeah, Donna in the picture. She does always seem to be discouraging their efforts at communication or at trying to escape.
And directing, and don't do this without my permission. And
right.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone this, don't tell anyone that.
Yep.
And, later on in that scene that we were just talking about, when Julie's visiting with Ellis and Fatima, she goes to leave, and Donna's coming in and looks at Julie and says, "Leaving so soon?" And the way that she said it was weird. Yeah, it was almost like she really didn't want her to, like, there was something behind her not wanting Julie to leave. The way she said
little
it,
girl.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it just kind of didn't sit right with me, because it's like she's going home to her family, and this place has not been a safe place
No.
for a while now.
Well, I mean, it could be guilt.
Right. It could be. Exactly.
Or just Donna in a good mood because Ellis is back.
Mm-hmm.
When I was writing my Donna mole theory notes,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote about, like, Donna with the peaches for Victor. Donna seems to have, like, favorite, not characters, favorites in her house.
Right. Yeah,
And she's
I
able to
agree.
do little things for them. And I just thought, but her having access to peaches, like unlimited peaches for Victor,
Mm-hmm.
until now, because it seems like something's revving up, and the people in the know, like Victor, because he's been there forever, and maybe Donna, because she's a mole.
Right.
The way she talks about the food shortage with assurity that it won't be long and it won't be forever.
Yeah, right? Like, how on earth would you know?
I keep going back to a culling, Yep. Victor later says, anytime something changes around here, it usually means something bad is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's something different. And something seems to be making Donna nervous, but she seems to have info that others don't have.
I agree.
And what do you think? Yeah?
No, I'm with you there. Yeah. I think if we look back at it, and I think there's probably quite a few instances where, yeah, she seems to either
I'm going to go back and look.
Yeah, now I want to. Yeah. So I do think that it's possible. That said, she does seem to sincerely care about her people.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if she were a mole, perhaps she cares about her people because it's important for her to do her job well. Or maybe
grown to love her.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the lines have been blurred because of that.
Like a reverse Stockholm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, she were a mole, she's emotionally invested, that believes that whatever they're doing, and she believes in whatever they're doing, but she also wants to protect the ones that she wants to protect. So, maybe it's a stretch, but it also could be that her motivate, like, even though she cares, that the motivation behind why could be different.
But you know what? Think back to when the bad stuff, like the big bad stuff, has happened at Colony House.
Mm-hmm.
Where has Donna been?
Right. That's true.
Not there.
Not there. Yeah, you're right.
And for weird reasons. Like, I'm going to go can veggies with the Matthews all night.
That's a great point, Liz.
I don't know. That. Where was she during the massacre? She pulls up and she's like, what's
going on?
Yeah. She had been there.
Right. Yeah.
She'd been at the party and then all of a sudden she's not there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Really good point.
I'm going to have to go back and look, but
yeah, we're going to dig into this more, people.
All right.
I like it. Yeah. And the other, part of this is me thinking that perhaps Dale, might be a mole, if not her. And so, yeah, he seems exceptionally disconnected.
I know, like, how is he still there?
Yeah, he was in no way remorseful.
What does he contribute?
He doesn't contribute anything. He in no way seemed worried about Ellis or the fact that he almost died and that he did it.
He's a good kid.
I mean, what? So sociopathic maybe at best, or narcissistic sociopath. I don't know, but
dick.
Yeah. But so he's very preoccupied with like what's going to happen to him or how he's going to be perceived, or at trying to get them to admit things. He wants to know answers to things he's not in the inner circle, but he tries to be. He kind of inserts himself into conversations. Now that could just be a writing thing because they were trying to, develop his character enough for this storyline to make sense. But yeah, I mean, I think it could also be, here's this guy sort of spying and being on the outskirts of it. And, he knifes Ellis. And the last time we saw somebody sort of turn on one of them like that, it was Sarah as well. So, I don't know. I do think he's very sus. And something I also noticed on the rewatch, you had brought up a while back that it looked like, it's in the intro in particular, it looked like everything, there were arrows pointing upward.
Yeah. The tree.
Right? The trees, so the trees are very simple trees, but they're drawn, like arrows. The houses are all like the roofs are all shaped in that, triangle shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a recurring motif of triangles I noticed everywhere. And I also saw on Dale's neck, he's wearing a large triangle pendant.
Something necklace that I'd missed, a large, shiny pendant that I'd missed until you pointed it out.
Yeah. And I just thought, what is the significance? Is there significance of triangles here? Is this a clue? Could this mean that he is tied to the place as a spy, as a mole or something like that? If, because I feel like the drawings are meant to be sort of little clues and things that they've seen. And so the fact that that's a similar image sort of in my mind is something to look out for.
Have you seen The Matrix?
Yes, I have. It's been a long time, though.
He reminds me of the guy that ends up being a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that I should be in charge. How come I'm not the special one, the chosen one?
Yeah.
I'm going to get mine by being a mole.
Yeah.
Fuck the team. You've never appreciated me anyway. So.
Yeah. So I think so. I think it's possible. I think it's highly possible.
I like that theory.
And then the other major storyline that Donna was involved in was the big conversation she has with Fatima.
Okay. That scene.
Oh.
I told you I thought it was way over the top and
it was
weird. And Donna seemed hysterical. Like happy and then a little too happy and then manic.
And like, why? Is this a culmination of just what she's feeling in general? Or is it because you'd think she would understand, like truly understand why Fatima is so scared, just on a base level of getting pregnant in this place.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes.
And then we get, go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
at first I chalked it up to Donna's been through so many losses.
Right.
You know, she's just, at this point, she's so grateful for a win, or what she perceives as a win.
Yeah.
And it's coming off of her monologue. Were you about to talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead and talk about the monologue.
Well, when Fatima walks in, Donna just immediately kind of launches into, I'm doing shitty. I can't grow anything. It's like these plants are being grown in poisoned soil.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, Boyd, all he ever wanted was to find ...
Yeah. Well, she probably like find a way home is what I was thinking. Find a way for us to get home, or find a way to get us to expate.
But what does that have to do with plants not growing?
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think she's just sort of, I mean, if there's a food storage and she's trying to grow food, but she can't do it, I think she's expressing her fear here. I think she's, you know, if we want to, let's say she's not the mole, you know, she's worried and she's trying to stay strong for everybody and pretend like she's not as worried as she is. And she was probably really hopeful and depending on Boyd to figure something out, but he didn't.
Right.
And so now she has all these dying things. And it's like, what are we going to do?
All right. Here's my last Donna as the mole theory, or a bit of evidence. Donna doesn't know that Boyd got the worms out of his blood. As far as she knows, he's still contaminated and dying.
Uh-huh.
And so poison soil. She's speaking about Boyd as if he were already dead.
Oh, true.
All he ever wanted.
Oh, wow. That's true too.
So what if her overlords have not informed her yet?
Yeah. Ooh, what a catch.
It just seemed weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
And then quick, like poison soil, Fatima's, you know, system of reproduction.
Mm-hmm.
The plants won't grow. It's like we're trying to grow them in poison soil.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When she's giving Fatima her, you know, go get him speech, she talks about so many impossible things. You just start to assume that everything impossible is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote good signs, bad signs, up to us to figure out what they are, which is which.
Right. Yeah, like good symbols and bad symbols too.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
Right, comes up in another conversation between Victor and yeah.
And then it's also kind of at the end of it, she says, you know, a nightmare is just the other side of a dream.
Yeah.
Which is also a callback to the pilot when Fatima tells Julie that if you get high enough, you know, she kind of says the same thing.
And another callback to season 1, episode 6, when Fatima has her anniversary party.
Mm-hmm.
What does Donna give her? A dream catcher.
Right. Oh, wow. You're right.
May all of your dreams be good ones.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting.
I mean, who knows what it means, but.
Well, you know, again, we're really talking about dreams here. So, and that's been brought up as a theory too, you know, I mean, I don't really love the idea of it all being a dream in any way, but
I would hate that.
I don't like that at all. But at the same time, like it is something that continues to get mentioned.
True.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Fatima's name.
So, well, real quickly, and then we'll talk about her name. Yeah. Because Fatima reveals the pregnancy to Donna. And like you said, she seems super exuberant in her excited celebration. And, you know,
it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Right. And I was also thinking too, you know, because I was like, well, again, we have this sort of sincere moment. If she's a mole, then, you know, how does that check out? But then the other side of that is, well, if they are doing experimentations, perhaps the fact that someone was able to get pregnant and have a baby, perhaps that is a big deal, you know, regarding whatever they're experimenting on.
Yeah.
So not necessarily excited for Fatima specifically, but excited for whatever it is that she strongly believes in.
Yeah. Ooh,
you know,
that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's why she's excited, like why she's so excited. So just different options. I'm not saying that it is, but like trying to look at it, you know, look at all sides of of it and all the possibilities. But yeah, so Fatima's strangely upset about this and reveals then to Donna that she cannot have children. And Donna's like, oh, pish posh, look, it's a miracle. But Fatima's really insistent on it, which made me wonder too if it's more than her just being infertile. You know,
Right.
what if she's missing some of the equipment?
Yeah. This is
know?
not supposed to be happening.
Yeah, like she says it's impossible, you know.
Yeah.
So that tells me that there's not even like, it's not just, oh, I probably won't get pregnant, but that there's something that she's had done or something that, you know, makes it literally impossible.
Yeah, physically impossible.
Right. Go
You
ahead.
could tie that to the autopsy with Christy saying this is impossible. How, you know,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You get where I'm going with
I
this.
do get where you're going with this.
We're looking at, you know, human systems, anatomy, something that shouldn't be happening, but it is.
Yep. Wow.
With the
That's
monsters
true.
being animated, but how could
Mm-hmm.
they? They're all dried up. Dried up, fertility.
Oh my goodness, Liz.
That's probably a reach, but you know,
Probably, but still, it's a good one. And it does make sense. Yeah. So I wrote, is this an immaculate pregnancy?
Ooh.
Is what I wrote in my notes. And I made a comment on it on Reddit, and somebody came back and talked about what her name means, which I think is really interesting. So Fatima is a female given name of Arabic origin, used throughout the Muslim world. Several relatives of the Islamic prophet Muhammad had the name, including his daughter, Fatima, as the most famous one. The literal meaning of the name is one who weans an infant or one who abstains.
Oh.
It is also the site of a miraculous event for Catholics and other Christians. And it also can mean captivating and shining one. The gorgeous name is shining a light in Muslim homes, with many parents naming their bundle of joy after the Prophet Muhammad's daughter. She was one of 4 perfect women and was the only child of Muhammad to bear children. She's often considered the Muslim equivalent of Christianity's Virgin Mary and a leading feminine figure to aspire to.
No way.
So there you go. Yeah. So for you, what do you think the theory of the week is? What was the most interesting thing to pull out of this episode theory wise that you're excited about?
I think it would be Donna as the mole.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Me too.
when you go back and look at her behavior, especially this week, you start to get a little sus.
Yeah.
Including the fact that she wasn't there for both the stabbing of Ellis and I want to say part of the massacre.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to go back and look, but it looks like she goes AWOL for a big part of the party.
Yeah. Because she has to go deal with something else, maybe, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe. But I remember she just comes running up outside as people are fleeing the house. And she's like, remember your protocol, get your buddy, get in the car.
And I don't even necessarily think that like it has to be that she could be a cog in a wheel, you know. It might not be that she even has control over certain things. Maybe it's like this is what she's in charge of. And so the fact that there were attacks there twice when she was gone might even say a little bit of something about, you know, her being gotten out of the way, you know, the like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we were talking earlier, and I was like, well, perhaps she's excited about the pregnancy for a larger reason. You know, if it's something that she really believes in, then there might be an excuse for some of the malevolence that's there because there's a good reason behind it. And so while she seems to be a leader, perhaps like if she is a mole, if she is part of another team, she's pretty low on the totem pole in that group. If that makes sense.
It does. I was running through my head, like, what would possibly be something that would be so important in your mind that you would take part in an experiment like the one Jim's envisioning?
Yeah.
And I thought about fear, and I thought, well, what if, like, you know, whatever part of the brain that produces the fear response, the fight or flight responses, is found to, be a cure for cancer or Alzheimer's or
Yeah.
like, what if her sister had Parkinson's and
right. And there was like some greater, thing they were trying to solve.
Yeah, like we're trying to mass
And
produce.
the picture sort of shows, like, reminds her of why she's doing this.
Ooh,
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
There you
So, like,
go.
in some way, her story's sort of true. It's not exactly true, but there's truth in it.
Right.
Mm.
Right. The picture, it's bugged me ever since you reminded me of it.
Yeah.
Why would she have that? And if you put it in the context of Donna's a mole, she's working for some other group.
Yeah.
And then it makes all the sense in the world.
Exactly. Now, some people might say that this is really just poor writing, but I don't know. There's some things that it's like, I don't think that the writing is so bad that you would see that many large loopholes. So I don't, and especially when it's a mystery box show, I just think that, ideally most of the time / all of the time, people who are writing that know what they're writing. They know the genre they're writing for. And so you don't make stupid mistakes.
No, you don't.
You know that things that you're going to dress a set with and all of that, that's going to be important and people are going to be looking at that.
Now, that picture, we know it's not just like a selfie from
the
trip, right? We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and look at it.
And like, even if it was taken, well, I mean, the way she tells the story, her sister died literally the day they got there. It wasn't like she survived past the first night. So there's not even an option of like, oh, well, they were there and somebody took a picture. Never mind the issue of how would it get developed, but that's my other thing. If they were traveling and she had taken photos, where would they have been able to develop photos in order for her to print it out and frame it?
See?
So no matter how you cut it, it doesn't make sense.
All right.
So I think Donna, we've got our sort of sub theory that maybe Dale is a mole instead of Donna.
The power hungry Dale.
The power hungry Dale with the triangle around his neck.
Yep. Dale.
And if we look at them as arrows, then a triangle around this neck is an arrow pointing to him. Essentially, like, look right here at his face.
Dumb face.
So, I don't know.
Dale would wear that anyway. Look at me and my dumb face.
Me and my dumb face.
But yeah, Dale, Mr. I've got ideas. I could be a leader too.
Yeah. Why won't people listen to me? What about a pocket universe?
Ugh, Dale.
Yeah. So but ultimately, we'd love to hear what you guys think. How are you feeling about the theory of the week and about there being a mole? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. If you're listening still, we appreciate you very, very much for listening to us go on and on with our conspiracy theories. And we hope you'll join in the conversation and come back for our next video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
When I was just a little boy, I asked my father, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Is what he said.